Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A rectangular piece of fabric used as a signaling device. Become less intense. Stratified stone that splits into pieces suitable as paving stones. Flagpole used to mark the position of the hole on a golf green. A listing printed in all issues of a newspaper or magazine, usually on the editorial page, that gives the name of the publication and the names of the editorial staff, etc. Plants with sword-shaped leaves and erect stalks bearing bright-colored flowers composed of 3 petals and 3 drooping sepals. Droop, sink, or settle from or as if from pressure or loss of tautness. A conspicuously marked or shaped tail. Communicate or signal with a flag. Decorate with flags. The building was flagged for the holiday. Emblem usually consisting of a rectangular piece of cloth of distinctive design. Provide with a flag. A rectangular piece of fabric used as a signaling device. Reduce pressure or intensity. Become less intense. Move in order to make room for someone for something. Reduce pressure or intensity. Become less intense. Become less intense. Stratified stone that splits into pieces suitable as paving stones. A holder attached to the gunwale of a boat that holds the oar in place and acts as a fulcrum for rowing. Small markers inserted into a surface to mark scores or define locations, etc. To hold fast or prevent from moving. The child was pinned under the fallen tree. When a wrestler's shoulders are forced to the mat. Cylindrical tumblers consisting of 2 parts that are held in place by springs. When they are aligned with a key, the bolt can be thrown. Axis consisting of a short shaft that supports something that turns. A number you choose and use to gain access to various accounts. Flagpole used to mark the position of the hole on a golf green. Informal terms for the leg. A club-shaped wooden object used in bowling, set up in triangular groups of 10 as the target. A piece of jewelry that is pinned onto the wearer's garment. A small, slender, often pointed, piece of wood or metal used to support or fasten or attach things. Attach or fasten with pins. Pin the needle to the shirt. Chess. Immobilize a piece. Pierce with a pin. Pin down the butterfly. A listing printed in all issues of a newspaper or magazine, usually on the editorial page, that gives the name of the publication and the names of the editorial staff, etc. The head or top of a mast. The title of a newspaper or magazine, usually printed on the front page and on the editorial page. Heraldry, charge consisting of a conventionalized representation of an iris. Plants with sword-shaped leaves and erect stalks bearing bright-colored flowers composed of 3 petals and 3 drooping sepals. Diaphragm consisting of thin overlapping plates that can be adjusted to change the diameter of a central opening. Plants with sword-shaped leaves and erect stalks bearing bright-colored flowers composed of 3 petals and 3 drooping sepals. Muscular diaphragm that controls the size of the pupil, which in turn controls the amount of light that enters the eye. It forms the colored portion of the eye. Plants with sword-shaped leaves and erect stalks bearing bright-colored flowers composed of 3 petals and 3 drooping sepals. Any of numerous plants of the genus Gladiolus native chiefly to tropical and South Africa having sword-shaped leaves and one-sided spikes of brightly colored funnel-shaped flowers, widely cultivated. Hang loosely or laxly. A shape that sags. Become limp. Droop, sink, or settle from or as if from pressure or loss of tautness. A shape that sags. There was a sag in the chair seat. Cause to sag. The children sagged their bottoms down even more comfortably. Droop, sink, or settle from or as if from pressure or loss of tautness. Goods or money obtained illegally. Droop, sink, or settle from or as if from pressure or loss of tautness. Walk as if unable to control one's movements. A bundle containing the personal belongings of a swagman. Sway heavily or unsteadily. Valuable goods. Signal to stop. Let's flag down a cab. It's starting to rain. A signal that involves visual communication. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Lessen the authority, dignity, or reputation of. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Make smaller. Wear off or die down. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. The barometer is falling. The act of surrendering, usually under agreed conditions. Come into the possession of. When a wrestler's shoulders are forced to the mat. Fall from clouds. Rain, snow and sleet were falling. Lose an upright position suddenly. A sudden decline in strength or number or importance. The fall of the House of Habsburg. Fall or flow in a certain way. Fall to somebody by assignment or lot. A sudden sharp decrease in some quantity. When that became known, the price of their stock went into free fall. A free and rapid descent by the force of gravity. Touch or seem as if touching visually or audibly. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Come as if by falling. A downward slope or bend. The season when the leaves fall from the trees. In the fall of 1973. The time of day immediately following sunset. They finished before the fall of night. A sudden drop from an upright position. Come under, be classified or included. Fall into a category. Be inherited by. A lapse into sin. A loss of innocence or of chastity. A fall from virtue. A movement downward. The rise and fall of the tides. Assume a disappointed or sad expression. Be born, used chiefly of lambs. Be captured. Be cast down. Be due. Payments fall on the first of the month. Begin vigorously. Come out. Issue. Descend in free fall under the influence of gravity. Die, as in battle or in a hunt. Several deer have fallen to the same gun. Drop oneself to a lower or less erect position. Go as if by falling. Lose office or power. Lose one's chastity. A fallen woman. Move in a specified direction. The line of men fall forward. Occur at a specified time or place. Christmas falls on a Monday this year. Pass suddenly and passively into a state of body or mind. Fall into a trap. Slope downward. The hills around here fall towards the ocean. Suffer defeat, failure, or ruin. We must stand or fall. The lapse of mankind into sinfulness because of the sin of Adam and Eve. To be given by assignment or distribution. To be given by right or inheritance. Yield to temptation or sin. A process of becoming smaller or shorter. The act of decreasing or reducing something. Decrease in size, extent, or range. The amount of homework decreased towards the end of the semester. A change downward. There was a decrease in his temperature as the fever subsided. Make smaller. He decreased his staff. The amount by which something decreases. A stone used for paving. Sports equipment used in playing golf. Give or make a list of. Name individually. Give the names of. A database containing an ordered array of items, names or topics. The property possessed by a line or surface that departs from the vertical. The ship developed a list to starboard. Cause to lean to the side. Erosion listed the old tree. Enumerate. Tilt to one side. The ship listed to starboard. Include in a list. Am I listed in your register? A database containing an ordered array of items, names or topics. The act of making a list of items. Any bulbous plant of the family Iridaceae. Fall or descend to a lower place or level. A shape that is spherical and small. He studied the shapes of low-viscosity drops. Remove, cargo, people, etc., from and leave. Drop off the passengers at the hotel. Grow worse. Fall or descend to a lower place or level. A sudden sharp decrease in some quantity. A drop of 57 points on the Dow Jones Index. A free and rapid descent by the force of gravity. It was a miracle that he survived the drop from that height. Let or cause to fall in drops. Stop associating with. They dropped her after she had a child out of wedlock. Pay out. A small indefinite quantity, especially of a liquid. He had a drop too much to drink. Get rid of. Cause to fall by or as if by delivering a blow. Hang freely. The light dropped from the ceiling. A steep high face of rock. A steep drop. Stop pursuing or acting. Drop a lawsuit. Leave undone or leave out. A curtain that can be lowered and raised onto a stage from the flies, often used as background scenery. Lower the pitch of musical notes. A central depository where things can be left or picked up. A predetermined hiding place for the deposit and distribution of illicit goods, such as drugs or stolen property. Change from one level to another. She dropped into army jargon. Fall or sink into a state of exhaustion or death. Shop till you drop. Give birth. Used for animals. The cow dropped her calf this morning. Go down in value. Stock prices dropped. Let fall to the ground. Don't drop the dishes. Lose a game. The Giants dropped 11 of their first 13. Omit a letter or syllable in speaking or writing. New Englanders drop their post-vocalic Rs. Take a drug, especially LSD, by mouth. She dropped acid when she was a teenager. Terminate an association with. Drop him from the Republican ticket. The act of dropping something. They expected the drop would be successful. To fall vertically. The bombs are dropping on enemy targets. Utter with seeming casualness. Drop a hint. Fall heavily or suddenly. Decline markedly. Appear to move downward. A depression in the ground communicating with a subterranean passage, especially in limestone, and formed by solution or by collapse of a cavern roof. Fall or descend to a lower place or level. A covered cistern. Wastewater and sewage flow into it. Go under. Pass into a specified state or condition. Fall or sink heavily. Embed deeply. Descend into or as if into some soft substance or place. Cause to sink. Plumbing fixture consisting of a water basin fixed to a wall or floor and having a drain pipe. Technology. A process that acts to absorb or remove energy or a substance from a system. The ocean as a sink for carbon dioxide. A spy employed to follow someone and report their movements. The rear part of a ship. Go after with the intent to catch. Any projection that resembles the tail of an animal. The fleshy part of the human body that you sit on. The rear part of an aircraft. Remove or shorten the tail of an animal. The time of the last part of something. The tail of the storm. Remove the stalk of fruits or berries. The posterior part of the body of a vertebrate, especially when elongated and extending beyond the trunk or main part of the body. Usually plural, the reverse side of a coin that does not bear the representation of a person's head. Structure displaying a board on which advertisements can be posted. The highway was lined with signboards. A perceptible indication of something not immediately apparent, as a visible clue that something has happened. He showed signs of strain. Mark with one signature. Write one's name, on. She signed the letter and sent it off. Make the sign of the cross over someone in order to call on God for protection. Consecrate. Any nonverbal action or gesture that encodes a message. Signals from the boat suddenly stopped. Engage by written agreement. They signed 2 new pitchers for the next season. Used of the language of the deaf. An event that is experienced as indicating important things to come. It was a sign from God. Approve and express assent, responsibility, or obligation. Have you signed your contract yet? Communicate silently and non-verbally by signals or signs. He signed his disapproval with a dismissive hand gesture. Astrology, one of 12 equal areas into which the zodiac is divided. Having an indicated pole, as the distinction between positive and negative electric charges. Charges of opposite sign. A character indicating a relation between quantities. Don't forget the minus sign. A fundamental linguistic unit linking a signifier to that which is signified. The bond between the signifier and the signified is arbitrary. A gesture that is part of a sign language. A public display of a message. He posted signs in all the shop windows. Be engaged by a written agreement. He signed to play the casino on December 18th. Communicate in sign language. I don't know how to sign, so I could not communicate with my deaf cousin. Medicine. Any objective evidence of the presence of a disorder or disease. There were no signs of asphyxiation. Place signs, as along a road. Sign an intersection. Point out carefully and clearly. Provide with traffic signals. Signalize a busy intersection. Communicate silently and non-verbally by signals or signs. Make conspicuous or noteworthy.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.